Today we are talking about SOL 8.3, solving practical problems involving rational numbers, percents, ratios, and proportions, and also percent of increase and decrease. So make sure you understand these topics. Also for percent of increase and decrease, make sure that you know the formula. It's a little crooked today. It didn't go through the machine very well, so I apologize for that. So don't forget, when we talk about proportions, make sure that your proportions are set up with the same number on the top as it is on the other side, the same topic. Make sure you know how to change a percent to a decimal. Make sure that you know about tax, tip, markup, sales discount, interest. Interest equals P, which stands for the principal or the amount of money borrowed or paid. R stands for the rate, which is the percent. It's always in a percent. And T is for the time, which is in years. Make sure you know your vocabulary when you're talking about a checkbook. Make sure that you know that a credit or a deposit is a plus. Whoops. You are putting money into your account. Sorry about that. That's a plus. A debit or withdraw is a negative. And make sure that you know the percent of increase formula. When you multiply by 100 here, you're essentially getting a decimal. Once you get a decimal, remember dip. Decimal to percent, decimal into percent. You'll move the decimal 2 to the right to change it back into a percent. If you get a negative number or a negative decimal, know that that's a percent of decrease. So looking at problem number 1, 5 pictures in 12.5 hours. So notice that I have my pictures on top here. And then the hours are on the bottom. So when you set up your proportions, make sure that you set them up correctly. The answer to that one was D. Number 2, Xavier saved money to purchase a bike. It originally cost $250. The store discounted means that you're going to pay less when it's discounted by 20%. What is the discounted price? Meaning, what are you paying for this bike after it's been discounted? So basically what you need to do is to find 20% of $250, which gives you about $50. The $50 is the discount that you will take off of the $250. So your total price for the bike is $200, which was A. All right, number 3, if you can read that sideways. Number 3 talks about putting money into the bank and taking money out. So notice here, you start off with a balance. A withdrawal is a negative, so you're going to subtract and get a balance. Then you put your balance here. You're going to then add a deposit and then get a balance here. A withdrawal, you're going to subtract and get a balance here. So if you've done all of those correctly, you will get G, $352.75. Number 4. All right, the next one is number 4. A librarian knows that 45% of the books currently checked out will not be returned. So 45% of the books will not be returned. The library has a total of 5,040 books. No, thank you. How many of the library's books will be returned on the due date? So if you have 5,040 books here, 45% of them will not be returned. Now you're looking at 2,268 books. You're then going to take that from the total here, 5,040, subtract, and this is how you would get the total. 2,772 will not be returned. Number 5, at a water park, $8 buys 15 tickets. Sue is going to spend $96 on tickets. How many tickets will her $96 buy? So this is a very easy problem if you know how to set up your proportions. So on the top here, $8 obviously represents the amount of money. On the bottom represents the tickets. You just need to make sure that money is on top here and tickets are on the bottom. You fill in the information, you cross multiply here and divide by your X, which gives you 180 tickets. Number 6, Dora bought a total of 48 cupcakes. Each cupcake costs 55 cents, including tax. Of the cupcakes she bought, 3/8 were vanilla. What was the total cost of only the vanilla cupcakes? Well, first of all, you have 48 cupcakes. You can do this problem in a couple of different ways, but if you took 48 cupcakes, you multiplied it by 55 cents, you get a total cost of $26.40. That's one way you can do it. You could take $26.40 and find out what 3/8 of that is, which would give you $9.90. Or you could find out what 3/8 of 48 cupcakes and then multiply it by 55 cents. Either way, you're going to get the answer. So there are multiple ways you can get that answer. Number 7, Emil bought a camera for $268.26. He made a down payment of $12. A down payment means that you're putting money towards the purchase. So you're putting $12 down, and then you paid the balance in 6 equal monthly payments. So if you put $12 down, $256.26 is your remaining total that you will have to pay. Now, he is going to divide it up into 6 equal payments. So you're just going to take the total and divide it by 6. So each month, you're going to pay $42.71. Number 8, a food company reduced the amount of salt in one of their food products from 700 milligrams. So here is the key word, reduced. Okay, so you know it's a percent of decrease. You have to memorize the formula. And there's a couple of ways you can do this as well. So it reduced it from 700 milligrams to 630 milligrams. What is the percent? We already know it's a decrease in the amount of salt. So you have 700 minus 630 over 700, which gives you 70 over 700, which gives you 10%. You're going to be asked what is the percent of increase or decrease. They're not going to give you a choice like a negative 10% or a positive 10%. They're not trying to trick you in that way. They just want to see if you can get the percent of change. Number 9. Kyle caught 9 insects for his science project in the first week. He caught 13 in the second week. What is the percent of increase in the number of insects Kyle caught from the first week to the second week? So again, make sure you know your formula, fill it in, and then change it from a decimal to a percent. All right, number 10. We'll go over to this side. Number 10. I'll cover up the left side so it'll look easier. Number 10. Susan's checkbook had a balance of $22.05. She wrote a check for $106.30, means you're going to deduct that from the total. So she wrote a check for $106.30. Here it is right here. So you're going to subtract. On April 7th, she wrote a check in the amount of $310. Here it is. Notice that she's in the negative, right? And that happens sometimes. She wrote a check in the amount of $310 for her rent. And then on April 9th, her dad sent her a $95 to deposit. So here's where you're going to add the money here. They want to know how much is in her account. She is in the negative $299.25. Number 11. Jane bought a new sweater It was priced at $32 and there was a 25% discount. So you have to figure out what is 25% and then you're going to take that off of the total. So here we are, $32 here. You're trying to find out what 25% of it is. You always change that to a decimal. You're going to get $8. Is $8 the price of the sweater? No, that is the amount you're taking off here. So the total price is $24. And then it says Jane gave the cashier $40. What was her change? So look how many steps this took. So it wasn't really what was the final price of the sweater. They asked you then, what is the change they received? Number 12. If a pole 9 feet tall, here's tall, cast a shadow of 3 feet. So you have height over shadow. How long is the shadow of a shadow that would be a 6-foot man? So that would go here. Here's the height, here's the shadow. So these are tough, but just make sure, again, label the proportion, have the same number on top, or the same category on top, and then a different category on the bottom for both sides. So the answer was 2 feet. John buys a car for $22,500. He gets a loan for 5 years with an interest rate of 3%. You have to know how to change the percent to a decimal. How much total interest will Don pay over the 5 years? 3% times 5. 15%, 22,000 times 15%, 3375. A couple of different ways you can do that problem as well. And the last one, while shopping at a store, Billy found a $900 television that was on sale. Again, discount at 30%. What is the amount of the discount, not the total price? So $270 is the discount. It's not the price. So be very careful on the wording.